Guys, we're going to move on. Race number 5 on the card is the Bramco Granite and Marble Flying Handicap over the 1400. Oh, going to need your help here, team. Brando's our favourite at $5. Faithful Feet, $5.50. Belclair's been a little bit of a mover into $5.50. Tavere, $6.50. One more time, $7. Pre-defer, 9s. Love for All, 15s. Providence provides $16. Miss Cartier, a popular horse always, $18. Cavallo Veloce, seeing a little nibble here out at 26, along with Raposa Repeater and Germanicus. And as I scroll down, we do have an outsider, Wicket Maiden, at $61, the 13 in the book. BP, Jeepers Creepers, this is why you paid your money, to try and decipher the flying stakes, please.
Gee, it's the betting race of the features, isn't it? This is a race full of depth and very hard to try and work out. At the top of the book, you've got horses that are Group 1 performers. Of course, Pre-Defer with the 61 kilograms has been Group 1 placed this season. And of course, Brando, at his last start to the races, finished into 3rd position behind Mascarpone, that in the Weight for Age Classic, and comes back to 1400 metres. And then away from those two horses, you've got stakes performers like Faithful Feet, for instance, who was a very narrow defeat behind Dragon Queen in the Westbury Classic when running second. You've got form lines through horses like Providence Provides, who was very good through the spring. Tavere's an up-and-comer. One More Time, a very well-backed horse who beat Irish Girl last time to the races. And then you've got Germanicus and Cavallo Veloce and Belclair, who's in form. So all that put into the melting pot gives you a very good race, but also awkward to try and work out. Look, it's a race where we see speed from horses like Belclair, who likes to go forward and running, is drawn in barrier number 8. We've also got Faithful Feet, who can take a position, and also the 10 horse in One More Time. One More Time's a runner that has really come on this preparation. I've been impressed with what she's done. Just the barrier draws niggly, isn't it, for her? Hence why we've seen that little price move outwards. Maybe if she'd drawn a touch tighter, she'd be, more in the market. But her run when beating home Irish Girl, a very well played run over the 1400 metres, and then you go back over her performances. For instance, even her run in the Westbury Classic and the King's Plate 2 starts ago. So that's where the speed of the race comes into it. And then you've got to try and work out, where does Brando fit into this mixture as well? He's been a lot better this preparation since he was gelded, of course, his win 2 starts ago, and then his Group 1 placing in the Weight for Age Classic. Found it an awkward race to try and bet into, and a tricky one to try and nail down as in terms of a top selection.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. Initial thoughts here, Aidan? I mean, run us through perhaps a potential speed map as well, because we need some help.
I actually described it exactly the same way as Brendan when I was going through it. Tricky. It is tricky, undoubtedly. The other horse who's right in that speed mix is Providence Provides. So I actually had leading the race Faithful Feet with the Providence Provides on the outside and Belclair somewhere near them. But then what do they do with One More Time? They've got to spear forward, and if that's the case, there's going to be real intent from these horses in the first 300 metres, and where does that leave Brando? I think there's a three wide running line in this race, and so Brando gets back with cover for mine because there's going to be a horse, whether it's a horse such as Miss Cartier who's trapped out, and then you just look for maybe Miss Cartier's back. Not that I think Miss Cartier's a horse who can take them into this race. I thought she was maybe just a touch outclassed here. In the end, I landed on Tavere. Here's a horse who closed terrific in the King's Plate last time out. Beat home One More Time, who's then come out and franked that form with that Ellerslie win, beating home Irish Girl, who's franked that form, beat home Raposa Repeater, who was a listed winner in the spring. So there's enough around that sort of form around Tavere, and every time we get out to Matamata and talk to Pam Jarrett about this horse, she is in raptures about him. Thinks that maybe she's even a Group 1 New Zealand Thoroughbred Breeders' Stakes type contender. She's done nothing wrong so far, won 4 of 8, and I just thought maybe this fitted in just perfectly for her. I thought she was a horse to beat.
Yeah, okay, nice. An horse to beat, 6.5. BP, what do we do with Brando? Look, he's come back as a gelding. He ran well, a good run in the Group 1. He's always got support. Not as much here, I can tell you, at this stage, so he hasn't been extremely well backed. Where do you sit with Brando?
Oh, look, I'm not prepared to give up on him anyway, is basically where I sit with him. And I know he's got his knockers, and maybe it's purely because he had such a big reputation, going into his 3-year-old preparation, Brando. But I still want to be with him. I don't want to drop him just yet. And look, he got all favours in his Group 1 placing. Yes, he sat from a low draw in a good spot and behind speed. But he finished into third position and he beat home some nice horses in that particular race. So I think he has to be respected. I think Aidan makes a good point around the race because this could set up for those, if it's a strong 1400 metre event where horses are looking to push forward, it does set up for a closer, and he has that potential of being a closer if he gets into that right spot, if he can find that position where he gets cover. Because if it is a strongly run race, well, then both Brando and Tavia's got she's lightning, and she just needs to get that right. Right things happen in front for her with the right track into it. She can monster them. We've already seen that from her. She's a highly talented race mare, and this might be her chance to be able to produce that. I thought One More Time is a runner that, as I said beforehand, guys, is just a runner that's improved out of sight this preparation as well. I want to back her, but I'm just very concerned about the barrier draw with her. That would be my only little niggle around One More Time. Prix de Feu, I mean,
yeah.
Look, he lines up in these type of races and he can look very good, can't he? I mean, he's just that type of horse. He is just a touch below the Group 1 horses, even though he has been Group 1 placed, and Jamie's always mentioned that, hasn't he, around this horse? He does have to lug a big weight of 61 kilograms, and that could be the one that off-puts the punters and coming back in distance to the 1400 metres. But he certainly dealt to his rivals last time out, didn't he, when he was dropping back to this type of grade?
Yeah, I don't think the 61 will worry him. Aidan, Prix de Feu, we know how tough he is. Well, what are your thoughts with him?
Obviously, it would have been 60, but the extra kilogram that NZTR has granted jockeys who might be coming back from COVID-type illnesses and finding it a little bit difficult to get the weight off. So 61's not going to be easy, but he was good last time out. Over 1,500 metres, drops to 1,400 metres. But this is a race where we saw Shadows Cast winning, what was it, last year or the year before? Must have been last year. So before, I think, actually losing that race later on. But that's the type of horse, and that's the type of horse Prix de Feu is. So, yeah, 61 is not going to be easy for him. But if they do run this really strongly, he's a horse who can take up a position, and he's a horse who can quicken off it. He's obviously a horse who Jamie Richards has said just below Group 1 company. Well, in Stakes company, this is his mark. So he's definitely going to be competitive in this type of race.
Yeah, I can't see him not being competitive, as you say. Pops, I put Faithful Feet in sort of the same boat as One More Time. Around Purincanto 4-year-old mares who, are putting together really fashionable records, but are sort of up-and-comers at this stage. So Faithful Feet's probably in the same boat as One More Time to some degree.
Yeah, I really like this horse. I think she's a runner that can get to an elite level. Peter Locke has certainly suggested that this is one of the better horses that he's put a saddle on, and with how she's been performing, I mean, really, that could be a string of ones there. It has just been beaten in the Westbury Classic when her second 2 starts ago on Karaka Million Night. She's followed that up with a very good win most recently after a slight freshen up, and I mean, she blew them away. She won by 5 lengths and beat a horse who was a Johnny who was in that race, who won impressively, and through an undercard who went around at nearly $1.40. She is quite underrated despite the amount of wins that she is racking up. Now, this is her biggest test, or one of them anyway. She went pretty close in her biggest test 2 starts ago. So why can't she be a part of this? It's just a matter of what happens up front and how many attackers there are. Because if she can find a position where she is just tucked up against the rail and she's following good speed, if horses like Providence Provides and One More Time are those 2 horses that want to go forward and take a position, and she's happy to take that spot just in behind, well, she just could be in the sweet spot also and be ready to produce. And if she can unleash in what she's done so far and her recent racing, I wouldn't be surprised that she can be a part of it. I've got her high in my numbers.
Yeah, well, that run, the second you'd mentioned behind Dragon Queen, tough run that night, and she still boxed on and should have nearly won it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And as I said, Peter Locke has got a high regard for her. She's got the barrier draw. So look, I think she can go on any type of track condition. Doesn't matter if the rain does arrive. We saw her win on that, what was a slow surface out of Tauranga. There's going to be some forgiveness in the ground with the tracks around the 5 at present, so that should be no issue for her because she gets through the dead track conditions. So, I think she's up there as one of the ones to beat.
Okay, she's in play. We're currently a dead 5, as BP mentioned. Weather looks all right, Aidan, though. We should be playing on a 4 or a 5 at worst, certainly.
I'm no forecaster, but hopefully we are. And obviously, we're using that outside bend. There's a suggestion that they'd be making a decision on whether they use the outside or the inside bend on race day. And we got out to track work on Tuesday morning with trainers just hearing that news coming through overnight, and there was just universal there was disquiet, let's say, among trainers when that suggestion was made. So hopefully all good. We just don't want to be seeing the track conditions getting too wet, although so many of these days over the years have been run on slow tracks. Yeah, you think even to last year as well. But it's an interesting one, this one. I think this race is actually stronger than the Westbury Classic, just to line up the faithful feet form. But you can't knock what she's been doing. I thought there were a couple there at bigger odds that you just want to consider. Cavallo Veloce's run in the Lightning was excellent. Came from a long way back, ran the quickest last 800, 600, 400, 200 of that race. And I think at 26s is the real value of the race. So it surprises me to see that sort of price around a horse who did what he did in listed company last time out. And the other horse I thought was Providence Provides. You know, you think back to the Canterbury Breeders' Stakes when she basically had that race won, and she does have speed to get herself into the race. I think she's a contender in the race as well. But really good race. On top for me, Tavere ahead of Brando, but after that, there's a heap of chances and what is a really good edition of this Flying Stakes. Yeah,
100% it is. So Aidan is obviously with Tavere, 6.5 currently. BP, how did you line it up in the end? Not easy.
No, it's not. And what you could do is you could try and have a bit of a split bet here. So you could look to try and find a runner that is going to be in front or in or near the lead and have something on that runner, and then halve your stake and put something on a horse who could be a back marker like a Brando or a Tavere. So try and work the race in that favour. And look, it's not guaranteed. Nothing is guaranteed, but it might just be able to give you a runner in two different positions. One up front, if they are going strongly, it does mean it could play into a horse that you're on at the back of the field. So look, I'll go with Faithful Feet, and my mixture for my back runner is between a Tavere and Brando, and I'm not too sure which one to go for there. So that's how I'm going to work the race anyway, somewhere like that. And I think it's a good way to do it because of a $5 favourite, for instance.
Yeah, exactly. It's the race to do it, isn't it? I mean, Aidan mentioned Cavallo Veloce, Providence Provides. Is there anything down that page that you might consider having a little fiver on?
Well, I mean, Cavallo Veloce is a good little nudge there from Aidan. I mean, the Can I Get an Amen reference is one that we were all around, into that race last time out at Trentham because of the form out of the Telegraph. So if you try to leverage off that and extend a branch off that form line, well, yeah, he certainly has a touch of overs, and punters have already taken some of that. What was it, 31s on opening, going to about $26 and now for Cavallo Veloce. So it might be a nice little first four, mate.
Yeah, exactly. They've had a little nibble, no doubt, on Cavallo Veloce. A bit of money for Prix de Feu. Belclair's been well backed and will run an honest race. A BP with Faithful Feet. Aidan with Tavere in this year's Flying Stakes right